I'm Anthony. I've been playing poker for a living since 2019. Hit that intro.
Don't soul roll me if you get quad fours, man.
You folded King, King, Jack, Jack? You owe me $350. Your money should be in there too.
Did you bluff me?
Would I ever bluff?
I'm leaving out there. I'm on
No,
tilt.
it's on tilt. Thank you, sir. I would not lie to you, sir. I told you I had a full house. Doing the Lord's work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
The $10 straddle is on. There's 4 callers, and on the button I look down at the beautiful Ace, King 7, double suited in spades and clubs, and I announce pot, making it 75. Without hesitation, the small blind tosses in 75. The straddle calls, and 2 of the 3 limpers call, so as usual, we're going 5 ways to the flop. The flop is Jack 10-8 Rainbow. It checks to me, and while I do have an overpair and a gut shot to the nut straight, plus backdoor spades, this is a pretty awful flop texture for my hand when facing 4 opponents. I can easily run into made straights, 2 pair and set combinations, or pair plus draw combos that don't give me a ton of equity. I decide to take the free card. The turn is the 6 of clubs, which doesn't change the board texture any. Once again, they check to me, and once again, I check it back. The river is the Jack of clubs. The small blind bets 200. I wind up making the crying call only to see the bad news as he turns over King Jack 8 deuce. Yes, they only call raises with premiums here in Texas, by gosh. I've rebought, and we're playing a double board bomb pot 9-handed. Under the gun, I look down at Jack 9 8 deuce, double suited in hearts and clubs.
They said that a guy that looks like me
We're under the gun.
robbed a game room in Austin.
Okay.
The flops come down Jack 10-5 with 2 hearts and King 10-4 with 2 diamonds.
So a guy that looked like you robbed a...
What's the bot?
135.
Caught it.
It's about 135.
Ryan for 1 student limit. Ryan for 1 student
Like
limit.
arm robs a game. Like,
Okay.
with a gun. That fit my description. And at the time, I had a fucking hoodie that had like AK-47s.
Oh,
All
of
over.
course, of course.
The day
Why
that-
wouldn't you? Yeah, the one day that you're doing that.
Mr. Mistaken Identity on my left has potted it to 135. Another player behind has repotted. On a short stack, I decide to make my stand, and I stick my measly $185 in.
Checks on
Is it on me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck, all in.
You beat me twice. You got to get
All
damn
right,
good.
we're in
man,
for
sir.
185.
185.
What's the bet?
485. 5 lots on that.
The other guy's all in for 485.
I got a bunch of 10s
185.
and some diamonds.
So did you wind up
No
like?
hearts.
Did they like arrest you or something? Oh, okay. They just questioned you?
Set of 10s on both and the hearts.
Oh
Baby
wow,
hearts.
set of tens. I got hearts on one and a straight draw on the other. Set of tens is good. I'm in my flush too. Oh, I got a. I'll let
Set.
side pot first.
Split the match.
Yeah, I made a straight on the other
Cassie
one.
for 1 student limit. Cassie for 1 student limit.
Top shot. Yeah.
How did this guy leave the seat? I think I played every hand.
There's 3 callers, and in the cutoff, I look down at Ace 10, 3 deuce, double suited in hearts and clubs. The smaller side cards significantly weaken my hand, but having a nut suited ace, a Broadway card to connect with, and being in late position, if I can see a cheap flop, I'm fine with playing this hand. I don't want to pay an arm and a leg, though. Surprisingly, the button just calls as well, and now, of course, the fucking big blind just can't help himself. He raises to 30. Everyone fucking calls because fuck that guy. He's out of position facing multiple opponents in a bloated pot. Good fucking luck to you, sir. And we go 6 ways to a flop. The flop is 10-7-4 with 2 hearts. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker.
You bunch of lying, no good punks. And I know who it's coming from because I've back traced it. Guess what? Consequences will never be the same. You lying bunch of pricks because you done goofed.
When it checks to me, I bet the pot of 185 with top pair, top kicker, a weak backdoor straight draw, and the nut flush draw. A player who previously checked raises to 425, and surprisingly, a second player cold calls both raises. What the hell is going on? Well, it's time to more than triple up, I guess. I'm all in for 300 total. The turn is the 4 of diamonds, pairing the wrong card on the board. Both of my opponents check. The river is the Jack of diamonds, bringing in the 8-9 straight draw, if one of my opponents has it. There's a bet of 425, and I'm not feeling great, especially when the second player calls. The bettor turns over quads, and his opponent reveals he flopped a set of sevens, an extremely gross spot. This is pretty much the universe telling me to go home, but just like with my wife, I'm not listening. Chips! It's another double board mom pot, and we've been dealt a Pat Badoogie in the 7-6-4-3 Rainbow. We go 8-handed to 2 boards. The first is Ace 10-9 Rainbow. The second 9-6-5 with 2 diamonds. It's checked around. The turns are the 3 of spades and the Queen of hearts. Once again, it's checked all the way around. The rivers come the 10 of hearts and the deuce of spades. It's checked to a player who bets 75. There's one caller. I make the call with my low straight. Fortunately, it's a small pot because, unfortunately, I'm getting quartered. One player shows down Queen 10 7-3 for a full house on the top board. The other player turns over 9-8-4-3, sharing the same straight as me on the bottom. The $10 straddle has been posted, and in the hijack, I look down at Ace Queen Jack 5 suited in clubs to my Queen. We wind up going 5 ways to a flop, which comes 9-8-5 Rainbow. Unfortunately, it's checked around. Hold my wine, bitches! The turn is the very welcome 10 of spades, giving me the nuts, but also bringing in a second spade. There's a bet of 40 and 2 callers. I shove for 200. The original bettor repots to isolate me, and we agree to run it twice. He turns over Queen Jack 9-4 with 3 hearts, so I'm free rolling, as we both have the same hand, but I have a redraw. Any king will give me the higher straight. The rivers come the Jack of diamonds and the 10 of hearts, and we'll chop it up.
Nice hand, nice hand. Same.
Thank you.
Did a king do anything for you there?
There's a raise to 15, 2 callers, and I repot it to 80 in the small blind holding Ace King, King 2 with 3 hearts. The big blind, who may or may not be a wanted fugitive, just casually cold calls both raises, and we're going 5 ways to a flop. Help me, Poker Jesus, you're my only hope. The flop is 8-4-3 Rainbow. With only 185 remaining in my stack and 400 in the pot, I'm pretty committed even though this is not a great flop for my hand, especially against the shit these yahoos have been calling with. But in for a penny, in for a pound, we're all in.
All in.
I get 2 callers, never a great sign, but maybe, just maybe, I can more than triple this hand? The turn is somewhat helpful. I improve to the wheel when the 5 of spades rolls off, but I may already be drawing dead against a higher straight. Both players checking is a good sign, but then... Of course the board has to fucking pair, coming the 3 of clubs. Well, let's see what these guys show down to beat me this time. Relief sets in when they both check.
I got a straight.
Margell.
Don't slow roll me, Scoob. Don't do it.
Margell and Eduardo for 1-2 no limit.
Don't slow roll me. Oh, no. He's got a 3. Jack 9-7. I vlogged yellow. Yeah.
The $10 straddle is on. There's a raise to 35. There's one caller, and I look down at Jack 10, 10 deuce, suited in diamonds to my 10 on the button. I decide to gamble it up a little on the button, given I hold key straight cards, and I have overall position on the field.
I just got these chips. We call.
The small blind and straddle are call, and we go 5 ways to a flop.
Here we go. Big money, no whammies. Punish them.
The flop comes 8 deuce deuce with 2 clubs. There's a bet of 180, and I'm in a semi-dangerous spot. Yes, I flop 3 deuces, but I'm not full, and making under fulls in PLO can be extremely costly. However, if my opponent had flopped 8s full and had me virtually drawing dead, I don't expect them to bet 180 here. It looks more like a bet designed to elicit folds rather than calls. There is still a concern that my opponent could have a deuce with a better kicker than mine, or have 8 deuce in their hand, leaving me with only a few outs to beat them, and maybe they're just trying to protect from someone outdrawing them. However, it's also possible my opponent might see a flop that doesn't hit many players' hands well at all, and he's just trying to buy it. Either way, I'm not quite ready to fold just yet, but I also don't want to raise, so I put in the call. Look at that. The small blind just cold calls the bet as well? Well, if you've been paying attention, the guy on my immediate left has been calling pretty much everything all night, so it doesn't necessarily mean he's got the goods here. Poker Jeezy in the heezy, keeping it sleazy. The turn is the Jack of Diamonds. Well, given my stack size and the pot size and the looseness of my opponents, I don't think there's any getting away from my hand now. In some spots, I might still fold here, because when you have the deuce here and there are two players still in the hand, oftentimes one of them has the other deuce, and the third player has pocket eights and is letting you hang yourself. However, this isn't an ordinary table. The small blind could just be chasing a flush draw here. It's check to me, and I think I should be betting here to protect myself from overcards coming that give someone a higher full house, but I check it back. The river is not a friendly one, coming the queen of spades. Once again, both players check to me, and again I chicken out and I don't value bet here. Given what a roller coaster the session has been, I've allowed that fear of monsters under the bed to eat away at me, preventing me from making a clear value bet here. Anyone with a better full house is most certainly betting that river into us, not checking it back after it's already been checked back the previous two streets.
Oh, thank God. Oh, man, you're the best fucking dealer all night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Oh, my cats are going to eat. I thought like one of them might have eights full or something, you know? I'm like trying to sandbag.
Hey all, it's Anthony. Thank you guys for tuning in. Despite the roller coaster session this was, which saw me up and down, rebuying multiple times, I did manage to squeak out a small profit of $408 to close the session. Viewer Irrationally Irritated commented on my WSOP vlog that he would have been very tilted the second time his opponent had raised him and then drew two, which is what happened to me in my Badugi tournament. And then the guy showed up at the end with a Queen 9-8-7 Badugi. So yeah, that guy had me muttering under my breath, this fucking guy, whenever I got into a hand where, you know, he was raising, just because he was playing bonkers. I don't think he had a fucking clue what he was doing. And, you know, because he's 3-betting me pre-flop or pre-draw, and then he's drawing 2, and then he raises me after I drew 1, and then he draws 2 again. It was mind-blowing. But he was winning, man. He was just fucking running like God and just hitting everything. So the combination of him playing bad and getting lucky against me, and he was getting lucky against the entire fucking table. I mean, he had most of the chips. So that's definitely frustrating to watch, and I'm not immune to it. So I'm glad that others feel the same. Viewer William Lottie commented on my WSOP vlog that he also played the Deuce to 7 tournament. I did see him out there at the MGM, and we know each other from the Austin area. And he got into a hand where he had to inform his opponent that his opponent had actually won the hand at Showdown. His opponent in Deuce to 7 had Deuce 3, 4, 5, Ace. Aces are high. They are not low in the Deuce to 7 triple draw format. And William had paired up, so he lost that hand. But it's funny because I noticed that too. Anytime I play a tournament that isn't Hold'em, you get a lot of players that are tournament players, but they don't have a fucking clue about the game they're playing. They just want to play tournaments. So they're entering, you know, PLO tournaments, Big O tournaments, you know, Deuce to 7 tournaments, and they don't understand how the game works. They just want to play tournaments. And, you know, sometimes their raw aggression and insanity early on will let them, you know, scoop up a lot of chips. But usually later on in the tournaments, when the blinds start mattering, they're still making fundamental mistakes and they start, you know, donking it off. So, but that is an interesting dynamic that you get these tournament grinders that are playing games that, you know, they've never played before. They just want to grind a tournament. All right, that's going to be a wrap for this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode.
You know, after watching a video like this, sometimes I'll like it, sometimes I'll leave a comment, and sometimes I'll subscribe. Sometimes I'll even do all 3.